Friday for Jeff and Joe.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Jeff's house tonight. We are recording with two professionals. I'm not talking about you and I. I'm talking about the little ones. But actually, I think they just went to bed. So,
that lull, folks, was the unprofessionalness of Jeff not turning his mic on. So we've rectified the situation.
Yeah.
And we're back.
We're back. Much to your dismay.
Sorry, folks. It was not a 30-second episode. So what I will say is that this is going to be a pretty laid-back episode. Like I said, we're hanging out at my house.
We are.
We've got a pizza in the oven.
There's a cat walking by.
Yes. It's general chaos. The kids have just gone to bed. They are upstairs brushing their teeth as we speak. And we are hoping that they go to bed, so my wife was concerned that we would start swearing and create monsters out of my children. So,
yeah, I don't think we can damage them any more than you already.
they're already lost.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, of course, as always, you have joined us on all the random useless information you want to know. It is Friday nights with Joe.
That's gonna be great. I hope it turns out.
It will be good. She was loving it.
So the pizza is actually from Costco. We just got back from Costco.
Yep.
I love Costco.
It smells pretty good in the house.
Yes. And so funny thing is, if you've gone to Costco before, they give out samples, right?
Ooh, see, I've never been to a Costco.
See, we were talking about this in the car.
I'm a new guy.
We're like, does Joe know about Costco? And so
Miranda does.
Oh.
Miranda Costco all the time.
Okay, but
all
you
the
not
time.
so much. You don't go with her.
No.
For us, it's a family event. All four of us
get
bundled up
and
and go in
pizza's ready.
Okay.
There's a beep in the background.
Hold on. All right, you talk for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I've never been. Miranda goes. She does. Actually, I don't quite understand her shopping patterns. Because sometimes she'll do festival for, food, and then next time it's Pick and Save, and then next time it's Myers. But the day she goes to Costco, it's like, I bought everything. So it's almost like, I guess, is it a nicer Walmart, or what are we talking about here?
But it's bulk. It's bulk
I get
pricing.
that.
But
I've seen the picture online of the full barrel of Jack Daniel's whiskey.
Oh, sure.
Is that
sure.
a true thing?
Yes, that is a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like $1,000 or something like that.
Sign me up.
Yeah. One night.
I'm going to need two of them.
Accepted.
I'm going to need two.
So the big thing for me anyway with Costco is just I find that if you time it out with their coupons, things end up being a lot cheaper.
Oh, nice.
But the problem is you end up buying so much of it, you have to figure out if it'll justifiably last. So we've stopped buying vegetables and fruit there because we don't eat it fast enough.
No, that's very true.
So, especially with families of like only two people, like my parents, they don't. After a while, you start to outweigh some of the benefits.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so the big thing is Costco has samples.
Samples.
So kids are hungry. I noticed they have samples. The first one was
Come here, kids.
A weird olive thing. And my kids love olives, but these are like those like fancy olives where
Like
they're like
green
soaked
olives?
in olive. No. Yeah, green and like the purpley ones that are soaked in like the oil.
Yeah.
So it's like real olives, not just the black ones in the can, whatever. So they weren't loving that. Then chocolate milk. Kids don't really like the chocolate milk.
What?
They drank it eventually.
What kind of
but not at
chocolate milk
first.
is this? Man, I love
Regular-
chocolate milk.
Regular chocolate milk.
There's different brands of chocolate milk.
Last but not least, there was a small little plastic container of mixed nuts, like glazed almost, because they
And
were.
Jeff
like,
was all over them.
Nope. So I grabbed two, gave one to each of my children.
Okay. All right. Keeping this PG.
Within 2 seconds, Leo spills the thing everywhere. And of course, I was like, all right, I will go get you a new one.
Okay.
And he starts to get he puts his head down because he knows he screwed up. I'm like, you know what, buddy? Accidents happen. We'll get you a new one.
Sure.
So, because then I gave the other one to my daughter, and of course he then got upset because she had one he didn't.
Of course.
So this, I was like, that's fine. We'll
Back
get you
and
another
forth.
one. So I grab another one and give it to him, and this is what comes out of my mouth. Make sure to hold on to your nuts this time. I laughed to myself so hard that people at Costco probably were like, "What's wrong with that guy?" I was like, I almost said it again because I was like, "Yep, hold on to them nuts."
For those of you who are much more
funny.
mature then Jeff and I, we do I guess I apologize. Jeff, maybe not, but I find that to be extremely hilarious. Because Jeff, you just you just gave your son some lifelong lessons right there. Let me tell you. I mean,
it'll be great when he's older and be like, "Hey, Dad, I listened to one of your old podcasts, and you told me to grab my nuts.
Hold on to my nuts.
Oh, grab that.
Oh my god,
I'm gonna run away from you." I've heard of stories where parents, like an uncle or like a grandpa, will tell a little boy that there's a wiener thief, and so if you don't, you got to hold on to that wiener all times, or it'll come and grab it from you, and then you don't have any more. And so the little kid runs around at all times holding his wiener. I just think it's the funniest, meanest thing to do to somebody. As a parent, you're like, really? And how do you tell the kid?
It's like the opposite of the
Grandpa
tooth fairy
lied
or
to you.
something?
Yeah, I don't know what the thing is, but I've heard it before. I just think it's so funny.
I bet you have like real experience with this.
No, I don't. Somebody told me about it, like a friend of a friend, like a real friend of a friend.
Real, like not a fake friend.
People say it's for a friend of mine.
Yeah, no. I get it. I just want to.
It was a funny story.
I just want to bring to light. I don't know if you're a fan, and nowadays no one is a fan of this man, but Bill Cosby.
Nobody likes that guy.
Okay,
anymore.
I know. But growing up, we listened to his stuff all the time.
His stand-up,
kids.
you're saying?
Yeah, his stand-up. We had cassette tapes of his stand-up, and we listened to it as we were like falling asleep. Loved it, and to this day,
was it PG or?
Of course, it's
okay.
Dude, it's Bill Cosby before he raped everyone. Like,
yeah, but
let's be honest.
But
all of his stuff
Bob
was PG.
Saget. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's Bob Saget. It's got to be PG." And
No,
then you hear that guy.
Bill Cosby, like that was his thing. He's like squeaky clean. You know, he's got like family values, and that's why this whole entire deal is such a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he's got this whole bit about bedtime. And I'm just sitting here listening to the running around that's going on upstairs. And like he's got this bit where his wife comes down like with a 3-foot ruler that's been broken in half because the beatings have commenced and stuff. Oh, anyways, I just wanted to say that.
I'm not normally here at night while my wife puts the kids down.
Yeah.
And so she ends up dealing with the brunt of it more often than not. And so when I am home, it's definitely something I try to help out with. But when the kids don't want to go to bed, it's like.
I'm hearing it right now. I mean, it's like.
It's like trying to put a muzzle on like a Wolverine. It's just like somebody's bound to get hurt.
Yeah.
Crying, all sorts of tears.
See, Mia's actually not bad. There's a routine. You got brush your teeth, pick out a book. Usually there's a cup of water in there somewhere, maybe a gummy or something. And then you read the book to her, and then it's lights out. And it's pretty black and white the whole time. So it is nice. But so just so everyone knows, we are in what would be the dining room of Jeff's house, and I'm sorry, the dinette. I don't need these. I don't know these things. I'm just sitting at a table. Our house is huge. And Jeff has just pulled the pizza from the oven. I'm pretty excited about this.
It's a little warm. We might need to wait a little bit.
No, that's part of the fun of like the cardboard pizza. Is you just bite
like,
into it, and like how much of the top of the mouth will you rip off? Like as you,
I'm gonna taste this for the next 4 days.
Like, oh god, it hurts.
Yes. So our routine then, it's different if Daddy's home when we do the bedtime thing, because I like to everybody get in our bed, my wife and I's bed,
really,
and we read stories together.
This is interesting
because then it's one bedtime.
Okay.
At one story time.
Yeah, but don't you have to like put them all to bed yet?
And then I grab one kid and she grabs one kid and we put them down.
Okay, I get it.
Otherwise, it's like you got to read stories to one kid.
Yeah. And
then you put that one down, and then you got to go to the other bedroom, put that, tell stories of that kid, put them down. So
that's
I'm
really
more of a all at once kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so tempted to bring this up, so of course I'm gonna do it.
Miranda, close your ears.
Yeah, no, she knows exactly what I'm about to say. Growing up, my parents' room was off limits. And I don't mean that in like,
really?
You are not allowed to come in here. It was just we never had we never did anything in my parents' room, like with my parents or anything. Mm-hmm. So we never had an urge or a want to go into my parents' room. Now, with moving in with Miranda, it's like a lot of things happen in that room. So for me, I'm like, why? This is like my area, like what is going on, So I've had to learn about that and get used to that. But I think we're at a pretty good understanding at this point.
I think kind of the same thing with my parents. But I remember when we were growing up, we didn't have AC.
Oh.
And so it would get really, really hot, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And so every once in a while, my parents would allow us to sleep on the floor in their bedroom because they had one of those window units.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it was always fun that way.
Yeah, it was a moment.
But that's really the only ever time. I shouldn't say that. I do remember every time I got sick, I was allowed to slay in my mom and dad's bed.
Oh, nice.
And I got pneumonia. I think we talked about this at 8.
Talk about it.
And
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
I remember laying in my mom's bed, mom and dad's bed, because they had the thing where it was the bed where they had the shelving on the headboard parts. I don't know if you've ever seen beds like that. They have like a shelf there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I had one, and they had one, but they had the big one with the mirror in the middle. And so you could lay down, and you could see the TV while you laid down on your side. I remember, and so
Jeff never left the bed again.
So this would be every Sunday around 3:00. The first Packer game would end at noon. Noon to 3, the game would end, and I wanted to watch the second game, but my dad did not.
Mm-hmm.
So the TV room became something else, and I was like, well, I want to watch the game. So I would go lay down in their bed and watch the second game in there.
Wow.
I remember like watching, and it was always on CBS. Normally had the second game at that time before it was like, let's show every game to everybody.
Yeah, of course.
And so I distinctly remember falling asleep to Phil Simms. I love the guy, right? No.
Yeah.
But the sound of his voice immediately makes me want to be like just
bedtime.
And so like that, I think that 3 p.m. lull
you
on a Sunday,
and so many other men.
And so for me, I think my parents were smart and just like, hey, let's let him lay down in the bed and he probably will fall asleep.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that other than that, I don't really remember ever going through my parents' bedroom. Probably as a kid more, but like my kids, I mean, they run through the bedroom and Quinn every once in a while gets up in the middle of the night and she'll sleep. Ironically, the other night, normally I'm sleeping and I'm dead to the world. Like I'm just like a grizzly bear, snoring out of control. Nobody's waking me up, right?
Papa Bear over there.
But when Quinn wakes up, she crawls in between me and my wife and sleeps there.
Oh.
Well, the other night I got there, I fell asleep on the couch, so I came upstairs. It was like 4 a.m. And she had been in the bed, but I didn't know it. Oh. So when I opened it, I was like, oh, God, who's it? Scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh, who's that?
There's a little person. Oh, my God.
That was really funny.
Yeah, like when we would get scared or there was something going on, no one slept in my parents' bed besides my parents. And that, I don't think it was their rule. I just don't think any of us had the urge. But I remember distinctly I was scared a couple times. I slept next to their bed, like without even waking them up. Like I would just go in there and just, okay, I'm safe, Yep. So I don't know.
And that was, do you distinctly remember them telling you not to go in?
No, I don't. Okay. And that's why it's just so weird that like that room, it wasn't off limits. It just, it was like you don't. Yep, there it is. There's still like. Crying, yeah. I gotta find that skit again from Bill Cosby. It's
my
awesome.
wife and I should listen to it.
It's pretty good. He has a lot of things like funny things with kids.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Well, didn't he do the show?
Bill Cosby with kids or like?
No. Kids say the darndest things.
Yeah, he did that.
Okay, okay.
But anyways,
going back to the parents' bedroom. Other than those are my memories of that. I know at the house they have now, there's a bathroom attached to it, so you have to go through their bedroom to get to it.
Oh, all right.
So it'd always be like there's 3 bathrooms, but randomly
but you need to use that one.
Well, no, randomly there would be a time where all the bathrooms were being used.
Yeah, of course.
Especially holidays. So when everybody came to my house, you have 70, 80 people in the house. The 2 bathrooms were being used all the time.
That makes sense.
So I was always like, Mom, I'm gonna go use your bathroom. She'd be like, yeah, okay. And then I go in there and use it. So, but that was always a
VIP.
It'd be like, it was like the VIP. Like, oh, if you want, just go use that one. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I know the place. Oh my God. Yeah, but otherwise, I don't remember. I mean, those are my only real memories. It's not like I ever hung out there, like you said.
It's just funny, like to me, that you're like, oh no, we're going to do bedtime, and then we all.
But we just lay down in there.
Sure. No, I'm not saying.
I do notice that, like, you see a lot of times on TVs.
On the TVs,
they do this. Like the families are sleeping in there, and the kids come in and jump around, and they all like, yeah, that's.
That
Actually,
happens.
Wait, that does happen.
It
now that I
happens.
think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it. Miranda may think I haven't, and I may, but I ignore it. I don't know. I just,
Sure. I normally throw, like, the kids love to be thrown on the bed.
Oh,
so like you grab them and
that
you
makes
throw
sense.
them on the bed.
Sure.
And they love that, obviously.
As opposed to just being thrown. in
Well,
general.
well, normally it's out in the street. Cops don't like that. But if you do it in the bedroom, it's fine, apparently.
Oh,
That's
boy.
fine. Terrible people.
So good.
So yeah, that was a good segue though.
Uh,
Into nothing.
Sorry, everyone. That's all we had tonight.
Tangent. All right, so that was my first. I wanted to tell the Costco story.
That's a very good story.
And then my wife is going to make me tell the story. So for Christmas, we got my daughter a bunch of Shopkins. And with the Shopkins came this
how
thing
was
for-
your Christmas, by the way?
It was good.
Yeah,
it was,
the last one we did was with my brother, and that was pre-Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I feel like with both podcasts, we talk
I know,
about everything. And it's like, did we talk about it? Did we not talk about it? So
I just remember you telling me that your son was so upset with opening so
Yes.
many presents.
He was so spoiled that he, at the end, refused to open any more gifts.
my life.
You love me too much. And so at the end, he got so sick and tired of it. I think it was more because he wanted to play with the ones we were giving him,
Yeah.
and it was just like this overload.
Yeah.
And so we did go overboard, and as we've said in the past, we spoiled. I think it's the first time we were like, "All right, both kids kind of know what's going on. Let's do this."
Yeah.
And even my wife were like, "Yeah, let's tone it down." And to be honest, I don't think we spent that much money. We were just trying to find more gifts that were smaller and that they could have the joy of opening them up. When in reality, it was maybe like, because the thing is, we saved the big present for last. We're like, "Oh man, yeah." And by that point, he's like, F you guys,
wiped out.
I hate everybody. I want something to eat, milk, and just sit down, And so he eventually
Forget the fat man. No, I don't want Santa, you're terrible.
And so at the end, then when he saw what it was, and then he's like, then he knew it was really cool, and then he wanted me to put it together, and then he played with it.
What was that?
It was the plastic girl thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be pumped if I
Well,
got that.
and so he really likes the kitchen set we have.
Okay.
And he's gone other places and played with the grill thing, so we bought them that.
Perfect.
And Joe's at the house, so he got to see all the presents and the carnage.
Oh,
he actually
boy,
helped me
I
take
was-
the tree outside.
Yep.
Because my wife wanted to get rid of the real tree.
I had a tour
yes,
of all of the toys. I
daughter.
played with when we were kids. What was it called? The one with the fish. It's
Oh yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's something fishing, but the fishes go around in circles, so they got that. They have a Shopkins Trouble. There is Barbie Playhouse here that is about the size of me. I think I could live in it. It's so big. 3 stories, yes. What else was there? Wow, I don't even... Oh, she's got a microphone. Oh, there's a Trolls game that came out and started playing the song, which Mia, she also got a Trolls... it was like a karaoke machine, like a small little ditty. So I hear that, hey, I'm not giving up today, all the time, which is fine. Not, I have not. No, Miranda and her went, so I would think I was at work at the time. By the way, for any of you who have not heard, Jeff is back in the kitchen, and he was yelling at me, have you seen Trolls? It's awesome. You need to check it out. It's like one of the best things you've ever seen. Oh, boy. Yeah. But kind of, it's not really on the lines of Christmas gifts, but it made me think. So recently, Mia, she got it's about the size of our dog. We have a golden doodle, and I'd probably say it's, I don't know, under 100 pounds, maybe 80 pounds or so. This is a decent sized dog. This lion, she got a stuffed lion that's like the size of our dog. Okay. Yeah, it's a big stuffed lion. So she's pumped about it, just absolutely adores it. But when she was younger, I want to say, geez, I don't even know how old she was. But she got this huge, like 4-foot bear from Costco, maybe 2 years old. I don't know how old she was, but she used it and like slept with it for a while. I know she was 4 years old. She slept with it, maybe a little bit in 5 years old. But for the last like year and a half, maybe 2 years, it's been in the basement, not being used. Okay, so her mom, being the wonderful woman that she is, went on buy, sell, trade and decided to sell this bear. because Mia doesn't touch it anymore. Well, a friend of ours at work actually bought it, and the day came that we were going to get rid of this bear. As the day worked out, Miranda was actually taking me to work that day. We went out and saw some lights that night before. She picked me up. I left my truck there, yada, yada, yada. So as we're leaving, I'm like, oh, shoot, we forgot the bear. I have to take it in today. We turn around and I go get the bear. Well, before I leave the car, I'm like, you're going to have to break this to Mia that
I've heard this before. It is so funny.
that the bear is leaving. So I proceed to go get in the house and get the bear. And I come back in, open up the rear hatch to throw this 4-foot bear in the back of the Jeep. And the child is sobbing, just completely lost it. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So from our little town of Batavia all the way 25 minutes to the place I work, she is arguing with us and negotiating with us on how to keep this bear.
Wait, I didn't hear the negotiating. So what was she offering?
Well, like Miranda at one point, and along with other things, like, you know, because we told her we're like, a little boy is going to play with this bear.
Yeah.
You know, it's Stephanie's son was going to acquire this bear. And we're like, it's a very good thing that you have now outgrown the bear and you're going to let some other boy play with your bear, you know? Yeah. No, I don't care.
That's awesome.
This is not right, you know? And so at one point, along with like, how about he has this, and this bear, or this, and this, you know, thing. Yeah. And of course we're like, well, no, you know?
Yeah.
So then Miranda was like, well, what about your new lion? How about we give up your new lion in place of the bear?
Okay.
She was all for it.
Really?
It was so weird because, and I'm not, you know, I'm not coming down on Mia with this. I was literally in the car like, have I ever had an inanimate object like this that I just had such a hard time
I wonder if that,
parting with?
Now that you're saying this story to me, I wonder if it brings her back to a certain point in her life.
Very well could.
You know what I mean?
She has that where like
safety.
she will go back to these moments in her life. You know, we all do that.
Yeah,
A smell, you know,
Just
like anything. Christmas, for crying out loud, you know? Yeah, my kid again.
Yeah.
So it could have been anything like that. But I was sitting there like, I cannot remember some. I know I have. I know I fought with my parents for getting rid of something, but I cannot remember what it might have been. So I don't know. It was something I kind of wanted to bring up. Was like, do you remember anything like that?
I don't know, because I did tell the story to my wife because we both kind of laughed about it. Just because we have kids too, and you get rid of something or take something away from them. Even like we were at Costco, we let the kid hold something for 3 seconds and then put it into the cart and meltdown. Like it's just like, and not meltdown, but you know, started crying or whatever. And it's like he cries to get attention. He's not crying, because he's emotionally distraught about something. But yeah, I don't think we've had to. Our kids, we try to after every Christmas, we tell them, okay, now you got new ones. You have to get rid of the old ones, and you give them to somebody who doesn't have toys.
Yep.
And so, which, I mean, we donate them. I don't exactly know where they go to.
Yeah.
People, you know. But at the same time, we try to.
That's a really good lesson.
Try to make it that.
You know, you make it an actual thing. Like, hey, okay, so you acquired these.
So
now pick out the ones you don't.
We have a box sitting on the stairs to go upstairs. That is actually going to go to not necessarily kids who don't have it, but my sister who's moving here. So she doesn't have as much stuff. And then also we donate a bunch of it. So
that's still very nice.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't want it in the house because the more toys they have, the more toys they can pull out. And then I have to clean it up
more
later.
stuff you got to clean up. Yeah.
And so it works out for everybody, obviously. So for those of you listening, I did bring the pizza over to the table. Joe and I will be partaking in it. Hopefully, it won't be too annoying with the
grotesque,
chewing, but
it's very good.
Yeah, is it pretty good?
Yeah, I've never had a Costco pizza.
So we bought a Costco pizza, but we bought the one that you have to bake yourself. $9 for that bad boy.
9 of them.
$9
spatalas, huh?
If you buy them pre-cooked by them, I think it's $10 for the pizza.
Oh. I don't know. I'd spend that extra dollar.
Might be a different style. Anyways, whatever. But normally you get them with a coupon plus. Then they're even cheaper than the $9. It's like $5 for a pizza. You can't even go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And they've got so much pepperoni on it, we normally take half of it off. So,
so here's the story behind this pizza. I come into work today, and Jeff's sitting in the same spot. I left him last night.
I had moved once or twice.
Okay. But I was like, hey, man, how you doing? You know, I thought he just came in a little bit earlier. I work more of a second shift type thing, and so does Jeff. And he's like, hey, like kind of tired. I'm like, what's up? He's like, you mind if we, would it kill you? Is it a problem?
What do I have to do?
Yeah, what do I have to do to have you record at my house tonight? I'm like, pizza? That was it.
Done.
That was it. And it turns out Jeff worked a double.
I worked all through the night.
All night?
Well, because I got there late because I needed to do a couple errands. So I got to work late, and so therefore I had to stay late. But I had to come in earlier. So I was like, why go home and sleep for 3 hours? I can just stay here and leave early 3 hours. So I came home, took a nap, and went to Costco. So I have lucky enough that I have a flexibility, and that it worked out with what I needed to do. And plus, I had a big project that I needed to get done before the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And I needed to get it done by Friday. And nothing is better than getting work done at 2 or 3 in the morning when nobody else is there.
Dude,
Like, and
I
I
get
don't know
it.
why I'm a night owl, and I get a huge rush about 2 or 3 at night. I don't know why, and all of a
Really?
sudden it's just like boom, and that's why I when I'm at home here and I'm like I'll sit down on the couch and I'll wake up, kind of stand up at 2:00 and I'm like, I want to do something right now. Like,
to do.
and then it's like, no, you need to go to bed, and then I can't sleep if I'm in there, So
And then your wife's there trying to put you to bed, and you're running around.
rocking me. Yeah, brush your teeth. So anyway, it worked out really nice. And then I went to Costco because we are having a big New Year's Eve party at the house tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. New Year's.
Yep.
Eve. So good riddance, 2016.
Yeah. We were taking a poll survey, if you will, in the office on which celebrity would you like to die before the end of 16. I'm going to read off some choices that we've had.
Wow, I've not heard this yet.
It was Donald Trump was up there.
Trump.
My vote, Kanye West.
Wow.
Not because I like his music. I just something wrong with him. I don't know. We had a vote for Cher, which came
For
out of
Cher?
came out of nowhere.
Why?
The guy who sits to my left.
Why?
Yeah, he's like, I just don't like her.
Wow.
I know, right? Out of nowhere. Like
It's
Cher
so
would
weird
be like
how
one
like
of the last
2016
people.
has pulled this from us.
Yeah.
Like who can we get rid of?
And he actually thought, he's like, oh, so I get to pick, and I'm like, yeah, who would you pick? And he's like, Cher. I was like, pretty quick too.
Sounds like someone's been denied something.
Somebody
Like,
sent a fan letter and never got a
and
photo
no,
back.
Yeah. Bummer.
Poor Robert.
That's interesting. I am now thinking about who I would like to go.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of like people who are like, it's not like we have a Hitler running around that I'm like,
I know.
oh,
That's what
hey,
I'm trying to picture.
like some sort of ISIS people, but those aren't really celebrities either, though. So you can't. It's got to be a celebrity, somebody that everybody would know, their name, they've seen them, some sort of entertainer.
Wow. I mean, I don't dislike someone that much. To have them die, to have the 2016 actually
You have
take
the
them.
power. You have power. They died peacefully. not like you're torturing somebody.
I don't know. We may come back to it. I can't
because we
I
were talking
overcome-
about the like. So I mentioned Kanye, and Taylor was the one I was talking about.
I mean, I have people that are annoying, like celebrities that
Well,
are annoying,
there's-
but I don't
yes.
want them to die.
There's got to be somebody out there who you're probably like, probably the world's a better place if that Jared Fogle maybe.
Oh my god.
The Subway guy.
Okay, I mean,
Yep.
sure.
So
Sure.
I'm,
okay, we'll go with
if
that.
I'm gonna start with the scourge of the earth, I'm thinking of pedophiles. I'm sorry if you're a pedophile out there.
That
and you
is-
find,
I'm not sorry if you're a pedophile.
Well-
You're next, mother trucker. You're next.
I've got kids now, so it makes me very passionate about pedophiles. Okay, I don't like you guys.
You're done. You're dead to me.
You make
literally.
me not sleep.
You have
nice at
today
night.
and tomorrow yet.
Yep.
You're done.
I better start praying to whatever God I believe in. Sort of spiritual entity. So yeah, Taylor and I were talking too, and we both agreed that we would not.
Taylor told me a story today.
Okay, on to my story first. You can tell
Hold on.
your crazy.
You're
story.
gonna know real quick. I'm just gonna say his last house party. Never heard it before.
Which
Last house party.
Is this the one with the girls in the bathroom?
The guys in the bathroom.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
heard that.
Never
story.
mind. Carry on.
That is by far one of the worst stories in my entire life.
Well,
No, yeah, the other one's bad too.
yeah.
For those of you listening, you don't want to know what we're talking about. If
Someday we'll have Taylor on. And he could tell you himself.
and then that'll be an extremely not safe for work episode.
We
Not
will
for
have
the
a
faint of
disclaimer on
hearts.
that one. It will be
That-
TVMA is what
I
that
told
will
you
be.
that he told some of those stories to Jamie at the bar, right?
Oh my god. Yeah,
I
you
know.
did tell me that.
Crazy person. So anyway, Taylor and I were sitting there, and we both agreed that the Kardashians we have no hatred for. We both appreciate their ability to have no talent, and yet are millionaires. I have no problem
I don't
with
appreciate that.
No, I think that
I do not.
now,
Appreciate
granted,
that.
it's not a very
but
good
I don't
role
want them
model.
to die.
It's not a very good role model, but I think, if you've got nothing and you end up becoming a millionaire based on the very little skills you have, spreading your legs, and you become a millionaire because of it, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Sell all your Slutty Sears brand clothing or wherever. I don't know.
Sears brand.
I don't know. Kohl's? I'm not sure. One of those air misters.
Oh, very nice.
There's a noise, Joe.
I'm
was
amazed
confused.
by all the noises and things that go on in this house.
No, it's kind of clean. There's only one basket of laundry.
Oh man, I mean, yeah. Wow. But see, and that's the other thing too. We're about to get in some weird stuff, weird terrain here. I am not against the death penalty, but I don't think the death penalty is the best choice. I would much rather have people who deserve it, pedophiles, things like that, people who have actually committed terrible, terrible crimes, to go through a form of torture that will eventually lead to possible death. But,
my God.
I mean, pulling out their fingernails, breaking their fingers one by one.
You're not sure if you're okay with
cutting their
painless
tongue out.
death, but you're
Oh,
okay
no,
with
I am
torture.
all about torture for people who deserve it.
Okay, I agree.
Like, horrendous torture.
Yes. Are you the one to do it? Are you that kind of guy?
If they do it to me or my family, yes, I will do it.
No.
I don't even care. I told you, man, weird terrain's coming up.
So I was watching a documentary on mentally ill in prisons because the government famously has shut down most of the mental hospitals in the world and just released these people onto the world. When they are the ones doing a lot of the crimes, especially the weird stuff, right? Because, the two guys that they were talking about actually killed somebody and ate their brains because the voice inside their head was telling them to do it. So, again, split personality, bipolar, whatever it is.
I think that that's a medical condition, though.
Correct.
I don't necessarily fault them.
Well, that's where I was kind of going with it. So the one thing would be is that, they're talking about these mentally incapable people of being in society, and so they end up going in the prison system, which causes a huge drain on the prison system, right?
Well, yeah.
But some of these guys,
so do all the pot smokers that are in there.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, a lot of these petty crimes are looped in. Anyways, so the whole idea of this mental health was the biggest problem they have is suicides. Is that this one guy felt that he has no control. Like, his body is failing him, his mind fails him, but when he cuts himself or whatever, he has control. And when, like I'm saying, cut himself, they showed he had cut his whole leg, like, flayed open. And he had cut it, like, in a zigzag, so it made it really hard to stitch him up. At one point, he couldn't have a knife anymore, so he swallowed ballpoint pens. They had to, like, cut
At
him
what
open.
point did someone allow him to have a knife to begin with?
Well, you're in prison. Shanks pass through things.
I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for taking us down this dark path. But yes, Jeff,
but
carry on.
This is where I was going to go. Is that so? This guy clearly wants to commit suicide. Like, he's said it a couple times. He wants to die, mentally, physically, whatever. And a part of me, they're like, well, we got to keep all this stuff out of there. We can't let these guys commit suicide. And I'm like, I know it sounds really terrible, but I have a hard time understanding the real reason behind it. That if I'm not in prison and I want to go kill myself, I go kill myself. Like, I have the freedom to kill myself, but because I'm in jail, you don't have the freedom to kill yourself. It's weird. And
It is against the law to kill yourself.
no, it isn't.
It is.
How is it? Was it murder?
Yeah.
So if you attempt to commit suicide, they'll arrest you for attempted murder.
They will. You'll probably get off because of mental insanity or some type of mental issue. But
I've known people who have attempted suicide, and I've never heard of them being in any sort of legal trouble.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, bottles of pills and stuff like that. You pump the stomach and you let them go. You give them mental health care, 'cause
Yeah.
like you said, there's something wrong with them, severely depressed or whatever. But my thing is like this: is that if you're a pedophile and you know you're a pedophile and there's nothing you can do about it, and physically you are like, because back in like Roman days, it was acceptable, and all these other things, and now it's just not. Okay, and I agree because it ruins people's lives, ruins kids' lives, creates more pedophiles, all this kind of stuff. Blah blah.
Right.
It's kind of like you really want pizza so bad, and yet society tells you cannot eat pizza, never eat pizza ever again. You're just like, I have to eat pizza. I have to eat pizza. Eventually, you just kind of get to the point of like, why am I even here then? What's the point of being here if what I want is not considered acceptable? Then why? I'm just not built for this world. I'm not wired correctly, let's just say. So if you come to that point and you're just like, I am a drain on the system, I fear for and I feel bad for all the people that I've harmed and I could possibly harm, and you want to end it, I say go for it. You sign something, you go through the mental health program and say, look, I just, blah, blah, blah. You sign off on it. Everybody's like, yeah, look, he just doesn't want to be here anymore. You go through the whole step. Like, it's not just a fleeting moment, like I'm having a bad day, I want to kill myself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, hey, I've thought about it. I've talked to my counselor for a couple months now. I don't think I'm ever going to get better. Why stick around and live in prison for the rest of my life? Because they'll know they'll never let me go.
Yeah.
I don't know the contribution that man is that person, I shouldn't say man.
Yeah.
That person is making to society more. And if they're okay with it's different than what you said with the torture or murder, because it's not our choice to end his life. It's that, again, I'm saying him. I apologize, but
that individual
has made that choice for themselves.
Sure.
So I just have that hard time of like, I think that's one of those things that I think you should have ultimate control over what you want to do with your body, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
I know that's a weird tangent.
Well,
but because I was struggling with it.
It's a gray area. I mean, to rationalize it and to think about it, because I see both sides in a way. I mean, like, I'm glad you said the fleeting, not just a fleeting moment thing, because like there are people out there who have fleeting moments and all they need is help, Mm-hmm. So luckily they get that. But when it is like what you were saying, where it's a drain on the system and you're, I don't know, it's tough because just growing up, you are told that is wrong,
it's kind of like
against everything you
like almost being gay at first. A long time ago it was like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Not a long time ago, but recent past, whatever.
Yeah,
and yet, a lot of people chose suicide. It's like you're telling me that I can't love this person or be this way.
Yeah,
and yet I am this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, except when you're gay, you're not really hurting anybody. You're finding somebody who also is gay, and you make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see any little kids looking out for 30-year-old boyfriends or girlfriends. So, but at the same, I just have a hard time with understanding how, and I'm sure there's a reason. And they were talking about it, and they were like, trying to get these people better, and like, it just frustrates me when the person's a pedophile, they release them, they do it again. They get help.
That is pretty messed
and they
up.
get out there again, and it's just like, why are...
See, those are the people who to me should be locked up. I mean, not the dime baggers, not the, I don't know. Those are the people who could probably get some help, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, or people who are like violent. Like, some people, there's a way to deal with some of that.
Yeah.
But I know I watched another documentary on... There's a prison in California that basically takes the worst of the worst pedophiles, mental health people. It just, and they are technically they are no longer a prisoner, but they won't let them leave the facility.
Wow.
Because it's just like, we know your sentence has come up, but yeah, we know you are bad for society.
Yeah.
And these guys, some were like, I know I don't want to go out. I know something bad will happen. And if they want, and that person says,
and that's a big deal there.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. If you say, look, I know I'm a problem. I'm okay with just living my life out here. I got my 3 squares a day. I can walk around. I can paint. This place was a little bit more, wasn't so much of a prison. It was more of just like a
little liberal,
like more of a community kind of thing. they were all kind of in there for the same things. There wasn't a lot of violence because it was a bunch of chubby white guys, essentially. It just wasn't your Rikers Island bad prison image that you see in all these movies.
Sure.
And they were like, he's like, that's fine. I'm okay with that. And I'm like, that's cool then. I have a lot more respect for that man. You made a mistake. Yeah, you probably ruined a lot of people's lives. And I'm sure if that was my daughter's or son's attacker, I would be very upset.
Oh, yeah.
But at least I could understand that he's doing the right thing for all the other kids.
Sure.
But it's these other ones who are lying and deceitful and trying to get out and doing something else. And, there has to be some sort of check and balance there. And for somebody to say, whoa, slow down. And so if there was somebody like, look, I don't want to live here in this prison the rest of my life, and I don't want to go out there and hurt somebody, just let me go.
Right.
Then let him, and do it gracefully. Give him a last meal, celebrate his life and go. I mean, I think that for me is a big, like, kind of like, I know it borders a little on abortion, but like the idea that, it's your body, your choice.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about abortion, so I don't really want to get into that because that's a whole nother thing. And maybe it is a topic for another time.
Ugh.
But as men, I don't think we're the right authorities on that topic.
That's my problem with it all the time. It's like I have a thought of it, but I'm not allowed to say anything about it because I'm not the one,
Well, but that's the point too. Is I think all these politicians, male or female, are making laws for other people, and it's like, how have you ever been in that situation? No. So you're going to tell this other person how they, But again, a lot of people out there trying to adopt,
Yeah.
But then again, who wants to give out a baby? It just goes back and forth in my mind.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that at all.
Maybe another time.
Yes. But hey, what were some of the others so we can finally get off this dirt road we were on here and kind of what other topics did you want to? Jeff is spitting all over his microphone.
Mark, this one is mine now. I'm not sure what were we talking about before the whole prison thing.
I did talk about Mia partying with the bear.
Yeah.
There was
kids.
Yeah, you had a couple topics.
Topic. Oh, Shopkins. Did we finish the Shopkins story?
No, you did not talk about.
So
Shopkins.
my wife bought my daughter a bunch of Shopkins. She gets the Shopkins. It has a Shopkins app. Okay. For those of you who don't know what Shopkins are,
it's Shopkins.
It's like a tiny 1-inch by 1-inch little rubber toy thing. It's in the shape of normally a food or a shopping item. The one we have are chef items, so they're ingredients. Essentially, she got 20, 30 of them, whatever. They're kind of expensive.
They're now lost.
They're
underneath the fridge. They're underneath the couch.
You're going to step on one in the middle of the night.
Yep.
So essentially, though, you don't know what it is, except there's a 3D barcode on the backside. And to find out what it is, you have to load the app and take a picture.
Now, this is new to me.
Of course, we do it as loving parents do. My wife and I both do. She scans them all in so she can tell my daughter what the names are. And my daughter, being her 4-year-old brain, can absorb everything and remembers everything.
Of course, yep.
So she's all about it. But inside the app is a game. It's a bowl. And the little 3 or 4, I think 4 or 5 types of Shopkins fall into the bowl. A whole bunch of them, and you have to connect them. And then when you connect them, you get this little chef hat, and you click the chef hat, it blows up. And so you want to pop the Shopkins, essentially. And again, it's a great game because you only have so many lives. So for me, it's a perfect toilet game. So I can, when I'm on the toilet, I can play my 5 minutes, and I can get off, and I'm good. Like that, you don't really need much time on there.
Okay,
right?
All right.
So I was officially obsessed for about the last week, up until about today, I think. Because it was like, I got to get more Shopkins. And I'm like playing this game and collecting all this stuff. And it was just funny how my wife and I were going back and forth about strategy and all this other stuff. So we were laughing about it in the car. And she's like, you are addicted. You need to talk about that on your podcast.
Wow.
So I told her I would talk about it.
And we could probably talk to someone else about it who could help you. With addiction.
Mia or what? It's like, oh my God, I got it too.
No. She has a Shopkins board game. It's hilarious because she'll want to play it, but nobody knows how to play this game. Okay, the instructions have been ripped. So and I tried to learn how to play it when the instructions were full.
Yep.
I couldn't make sense of what it was telling me to do. Like, it's not your. It wasn't like the typical, like Chutes and Ladders or like Candyland or something like that. It's not like roll the dice and go.
Yeah.
No, it's like you could skip this, you can go over that, and I'm like, well, what direction do you go? Like, what's the point of the game?
Yeah.
There's cards, and I don't know. It was really weird. So now we basically just take the carts or whoever, whatever. It could not even be a Shopkin. It's just some random toy. She's like, this is you. Okay, and you just roll the dice.
It's a roll of
No, it's a spinner, like a twister spinner.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you spin it, and that's how many spaces you go, and then whoever makes it back to their home spot wins. So it's basically, if you get all sixes, you're good to go.
Win.
You're gonna win.
All luck.
Oh god.
All luck. It's surprising how complicated of a game that is.
Or maybe it's
Built
not
for little
complicated.
kids.
Maybe it's really easy, and I'm just an old man who doesn't know what's going on.
I'm gonna go with the
Could be
kid complicated.
Okay, I hope so.
But
Thanks for making me feel better, Jeff.
You're welcome. It's funny how your little kid games, it Chutes and Ladders. You either go up or you go down, and you go spaces forward or back. Pretty simple, pretty easy.
Yeah. Monopoly, steal everyone's money.
I don't think
Game
Monopoly
over.
was very little kid friendly. We played a lot of Sorry as kids. Basically just strategy of which guy to move. Yeah, kind of like that pop game that you were talking about earlier.
Well, yeah, I mean that's basically Sorry, right?
Yeah, I think so. You have to get all your guys.
It's like a
back.
Shopkin Sorry.
Okay,
It really is. I mean,
you press the middle and it kind of
it
jumps the
pops
dice
up.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my Shopkin story. I think I had something else, didn't I? What else was I going to talk about?
I don't remember. We should write stuff down.
Terrible. We're old. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to talk about the 2016.
That's right. Yeah, you want to talk about 16.
The yays and nays of 2016. I don't know.
Now I'm frustrated that I can't remember what that was.
I know. Okay, well, let's go through what you talked about.
Well, no, we can go through 16 now. If I think of it, we'll talk about it later.
Great. So what do you got?
Oh, no, I remember what it was.
Oh, great.
Oh, God. The best 5 minutes of podcast ever right there. I finished The Office last night.
That's right. This is what you wanted to
It was 2 nights ago. I was at work last night. So 2 nights ago.
Yeah, all night, ladies and gentlemen.
I finally finished The Office. Now, if those of you listening from the beginning, I first said that I was not a big fan of it. But my friends were like, you got to watch it. It gets better.
Gotta check it out.
And I will admit, it does get much, much better. At first, Michael Scott, who's played by 40-year virgin guy.
Yeah, I know
Steve
exactly.
Carell.
Steve Carell, yeah.
It's so awkward and it's so uncomfortable at first. I can't stand it. So
There's a cat.
There's a cat. Yeah, if you can hear him. So Steve Carell, it's awkward. I couldn't take it, but as it gets better, you get more invested in the characters. Things happen. And finally, last night I watched, or 2 nights ago, like I said, I watched the end. It was very good. It wasn't overly emotional. Wasn't like I was bawling my eyes out or anything like that. I think for me, I'd watched them in such a Netflix and chill power through them all that I didn't have the build-up of everybody else of 9 years worth of, at the end of every season, you have all these cliffhangers and you guess what happens and all this other stuff.
Sure.
And I never had any of that. So, at the end, though, one of the characters, played by Ed Helms, I believe his name is, Andy Bernard. Those are the
He looks like a Bernard.
Nard dog. Has a line in there, and hopefully I get it right. I played it for Joe the other day. But essentially, he's thinking back about how he always wanted this one dream, and he was always working towards this one thing. And it turns out that he kind of got it, but then he was looking back and he wanted this other thing that he had in the past. So the line is something along the lines of, it's a shame nobody tells you
you're in the glory days while you're in them.
Thank you.
Or like, these are the glory days while you're in them.
Mm-hmm. So the point of being is that a lot of times we're in a situation that is great, and we don't realize it till we're out of them, and then you look back and say how great those times were.
Yep.
And that line is definitely defines a lot of who and what I am, just because I've had a lot of really great times in the past, and you get caught up in them and you don't realize how cool they were. I definitely feel myself sometimes being caught up like, oh, remember then, and man, if I could only go back and do this or that or, something differently. And the good part about it is that I feel like every part of my life was a good part, that I can go back and be like, oh, I wish I could do that again. Oh, I wish I could do that again. A lot of it being my two best friends, Zach and Nate. We lived together in San Diego for a couple of years. And like, it was the most fun, just the three of us hanging out, kind of on our own, doing whatever we wanted.
Yep.
It was definitely the best. Everybody kind of at least I had a good high school experience. I thought about wanting to go back and doing different things there or whatever, but it was just kind of neat. And then to think that, like, now with my kids being so little, when they're older and super bratty, my wife and I are going to look back and be like, oh, remember we had the good old days when they, weren't driving and weren't all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Just it helps just ground me in thinking that, live life one day at a time and appreciate what you have all in that one moment rather than wasting it and then later on realizing
how good it was.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of just a neat line. I thought I wanted to pay homage to it.
It's a very interesting topic. And as you're talking about it and as you played it for me yesterday, all these thoughts came like rushing at me, and right now, luckily, as you're talking about it, they're all coming back again. But that's very interesting because that was, luckily, I'm going to say was, for me, a lot of my early to mid-20s. And now I'm 30, so like even into the late 20s, I was battling with those glory days type situations. And then, but it's through a lot of personal work that I've done through things. I have learned to live in the moment more so than I used to. So while the glory days are happening, like just recently, literally last week, I helped one of my best friends move. He bought a condo. He literally moved from one end of West Bend to the other.
Moving on up.
Yep, moving on up. And it was with him and another one of my best friends, Gary, who bought the place, and our buddy Dan. And when we get together, it's like it's an open book with nothing written on it yet, and you don't know what's about to happen. Like, and so for me, it's not even so much the anticipation of those days that are going to happen. It's more so like as they're happening, I'm just appreciating it so much that, and two, like when you drive away, I'm not like, oh man, I really miss it. It's like I gave it my all, like I left it all on the field, like coach, I did a great job. So for me, I know exactly what you're talking about because too, like I had such a hard time growing up because our childhood where we grew up and the siblings that we had and our parents was phenomenal. Like so good. I know. I agree. The cat is over here meowing at me. And so all of us in the Horsemeyer family have kind of gone through a little bit of and maybe everyone but my sister because we just made fun of her all the time. So I don't think she enjoyed any of it. But where we're all like, oh man, if only we could go back, and do that. So I've gotten over that. And now I'm appreciating what I have now. And I'll tell you, I maybe I've said it in the past. I don't know if I have on any of these podcasts, but I have not been happier than any point in my life than I am right now. And it's really, I feel just like relieved and like amazed to say that because I've had some really damn good times. But like, I think it's just because I'm noticing the good that's happening every day, more so than waiting for good to happen, So that's what
makes sense.
I'm talking about.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd be like, okay, this is definitely the happiest I've ever been.
Sure,
because I don't know if that. I mean, it's a different kind of happiness. Like
yeah.
I'm definitely the most content. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
But just like I'm happy. Like I'm. Like I don't worry about things anymore.
Sure.
Like I'm just like, okay, things are settled down. Everything's good.
I think that's kind of where I am.
Big thing.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at because like I used to be so flippin' manic about things. I'd be like really sad, and then I'd be like so happy, like oh everything's just great, everything's awesome, yes. And now it's just like I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I embrace that as like a very happy moment for me, because I don't want to be that like really happy and then I go down and be sad.
Yeah,
and,
I don't have the swings anymore.
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So for me, I'm like, dude, I don't know. You want to punch me in the face? Whatever, that's cool, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you think of the happiest, obviously that's a very generic term.
Yeah.
There's like with my buddies or whatever, it was much more fun and, you know, hanging out and fooling around and, you know, not caring. But at the same time, there was also some bad times in that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I felt, you know, I hit 25 and I was like, what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was kind of like, pull your head out of your ass, Jeff. So I think that was a big thing for me too, of good things happen and bad things. And so it was such high highs. And then, like you said, there were some really low lows.
Right.
So I think now it's just much more of I'm just more even keeled.
Yeah.
And but I'm above you know,
Equal.
content. I don't want to say content because I said that earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. And I whatever it is, the cosmos or whatever the beings there are out there, thank you. I appreciate it. Like, I'm good. I'm good. And I know too that other crazy shit's gonna happen in my life. Like, that's life.
Sure. Yeah.
That is life. And I almost expect those things to happen. But when they happen, I'm like, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna happen. You know, so
Yeah.
damn good.
Yeah.
Glad you brought that up. Really,
I just
it's a good one.
the way when I remember watching it, I'm like, that is just a really cool way to express it. You know, a lot of times we feel that way, but you can't find the words to say that.
Yeah.
And then when he said that to me, kind of the way you said, where it resonated just so much, it was like, wow, that's. And maybe Joe and I are the only people out here who are really like, oh yeah, I totally get that, and the rest of you are like, shut up, you guys. But
yeah. But that's fine.
It was
You
just
all,
so
good
cool.
luck.
Yeah. It was just such a, you know, I know people get hung up on the past and stuff, and I know, I definitely try not to be that way, and I don't think I am. But you know, there are so many people who live in the past.
Rafiki, you know what I'm talking about?
From Lion King.
Lion King, man, he's got that line where he hits Simba in the head.
Yeah.
He's like, "Did that hurt?" Yeah. And then, you know, whatever, he says a couple of lines, and then, "Oh yes, the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or learn from it." And then he tries to hit him again, and he ducks. He's like, "Ah, see, you learned." Yeah.
Okay.
That's my story.
I'm glad we loop back to the Disney story. Oh. That was my James Earl Jones. Mufasa.
No, I am your father. Or is it Luke, I am your father? Check out Paranormal Palaver, ladies and gentlemen. The Mandela Effect. It has the most views out of all of our podcasts.
So you were texting earlier regarding some interesting comments. I've yet to go on and look at them.
Yeah, you should do that. Somebody has commented on them. Wow.
Is it the same guy as before?
Yeah, and he gets deep.
All right.
Not right now.
I'll take this off.
Because you're gonna have to reread it. I had to reread it like 2 or 3 times before
so
I
it
could
makes
even
us all
respond.
look really stupid. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Not that hard, of course, but
No, not at all. You'd be like, the sky's blue. What?
No. Okay. So yeah, that was my little tangent on the Office finale. If you have never watched it before, I would highly suggest. It's a very endearing,
Check it out.
sentimental show.
It is.
It's very good.
I've not watched it. I've watched bits and pieces. Yeah.
It's one of those ones where, you know, everybody. There's so many series that people are like, oh yeah, you got to watch that. You got to watch that. And it's one of the ones I'm glad I watched.
Sure,
for sure.
Sure.
I'm glad I went through it, and I love 30-minute comedy shows. That to me is my bread and butter. Like,
See, it's so weird. Sherlock. This happened to me where I sat down and watched it. Archer. I sat down and watched them all.
okay,
After that, I don't. And it's not like I don't like them. You know, because like if I'm at a friend's house or something and like The Office is on or Lost, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, let's sit down and watch this, you know. But it's never to the point where I'm like, I need to keep watching that, you know. And it's so weird. I don't know why.
and I think the big thing for me is that my friends were so into it that it was like, I want to be in on the jokes too.
Oh,
You know?
okay.
And I was
Yep.
like, okay, I want to watch them too. And
Sure.
But once you hit, there's always that one point. It's like, now I'm in. Now I'm sucked in.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? And whether it's like, oh, I've hit, halfway point, I got to watch the rest. Or I'm in 7, Now, unfortunately, I think Lost is one of those ones where people got burned at the end. Where you got so far and you're like, I'm gonna watch the rest of them, but I don't have much, and then you kind of get let down. But this definitely.
I'm supposed to watch Lost. I'm supposed to watch all The Office. There's so many. American Horror Story I want to watch.
Yeah.
I tried to. Maybe I talked about this in an earlier one, but I sat down when I was living on my own.
Okay.
And I watched 2 episodes, and by that time I was pooping my pants because I was so scared. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to revisit this one. That's a little bit much for me.
Now that you're in a happier place, it might work out.
now that I'm a grown man.
Before you were a boy, now you are man. You could watch Home American Horror Story.
Yeah,
that's funny. So let's lead into then the memories, overall impressions of 2016.
As we do this, and I know you're not that big of a fan, but can we just have a moment for our princess, Leia?
Princess Leia? Okay,
can we just
Carrie Fisher? You mean?
Okay, yeah, Carrie Fisher. Yep, that was my moment. I had it. So.
Oh, you're done now.
That was it. Yep.
It's kind of crazy how her mom died a day later.
It is
because we were just
allegedly she was quoted saying, "I just want to be with my daughter," or something.
No, I can't wait to be with my daughter.
Okay.
Doris
Day?
It's
no, wait, not Doris Day.
Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds. Same
so
time.
far away.
Same time frame.
The one thing I think is, it's you hear about stories of old people. One dies, the other dies.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. They died of a broken heart. I don't think I've ever heard of a mother or father dying immediately after their
When
kid.
I found out that she was actually still alive,
yeah,
I was actually amazed.
I didn't even know Carrie Fisher's mom was a famous person, and I don't
really?
even know who Debbie Reynolds is. I have no idea.
I have one reference to Debbie Reynolds, and that was with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If you haven't seen it,
no.
it's a heavily sedated drug movie, but it's funny. It's a funny movie.
Yeah, I know of it.
It gets serious in the end, but there's this one part where they're in Vegas. Obviously, that's where it all takes place, and what would be Hunter S. Thompson's or John Depp's sidekick.
Yep.
They go and they see her. They want to go in and see the show for free.
Okay.
And the guy's like, well, you need to buy tickets. The guy's like, fuck tickets. Man, I used to romp with her. Like Debbie Reynolds, I used to romp with her. So like she's not in the movie, but she's referenced. That's my only reference I have. And also Singing in the Rain.
Yes, I know she was.
So
she is whatever famous
for that. Mostly.
But I'm not a big cinephile where I know all the classics.
In the rain, what a glorious feeling! I'm happy again.
I watched. I think was it To Catch a Thief or Thief on a Hot Tin Roof or something like that. Some old classic movie. It was actually pretty good. Because
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Is that about a thief, right, in like Italy or something?
No,
that is not that one.
No.
So I'd see it was on Netflix. I watched it. I thought it was one of those ones you see like the names. You're like, oh, those are classic actors and actresses. Yeah. So,
well, right now, I just want to take a moment. I'm going to say this in this podcast and also in Paranormal Palaver. I hope to get to it, but I have been listening back to some of these, and I'm so disappointed in myself at how off I am on some things.
Okay,
like I'll say a title and it's completely fucking wrong, or like I'll say something that I thought was a history thing. No, completely off. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Okay, I'm not claiming to be an expert on any of these things. We don't have scripts in front of us.
Joe's just a regular Joe.
So I am an average Joe, and something pops in my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah, there's no filter here, so I'm just going to talk about it, and it may be completely wrong. This is where you get the opportunity to send in and say, hey, Joe, numbnut, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So I would much appreciate it because I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of an idiot sometimes.
Here for the education.
I am here for the education.
So
2016.
No. So what I was going to say is, do you remember when Ocean's 11, 12, and 13? No, Italian Job. Remember the Italian Job? How good that was? Apparently that's a remake. Did you know that? No, he did not know that. The Italian Job is a remake. So I tried to watch the original. It's so slow, the action sequences and all that, I just couldn't watch it. Now, and I'm talking 19-year-old Jeff, 20-year-old Jeff. so a good 10 years ago. So maybe now I could maybe appreciate it. But at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch all these old movies. And I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna be an expert, and this way people when talk to me, I'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that and this and that. And I like got through 1.5 old people movies.
You're like,
no, because do you know what's the zombie movie with Will Smith and the dog?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Do you know that's a remake also?
What?
It's some really weird movie, and I watched it all the way through.
Is it like loosely based, or is it like pretty close?
Kind of, not really.
To all of that, yes.
It takes liberties, we'll say it, I guess.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it is a remake. Huh. I mean, I don't want see when people say remake, they think of like a shot for shot remake. You know, where the same, the exact same storyline. They just update things, and it's not really that.
Okay.
But anyways, I watched a couple of these movies, black and white, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm not saying they're bad because at the time they're high end,
Yeah, they were cream of the crop.
And yet when you watch some of them, it's just like, oh my gosh, these are just terrible. I mean, and especially the sci-fi effects of some of these. I'm sure at the time we're like, oh,
see,
man.
And I think you have to like get into that mindset though. You can't expect too much.
I'm too desensitized where I have a hard time distinguishing.
This is not really one of those moments, but like I do believe it's called Spirit of St. Louis. It's the story of Jimmy Stewart plays the pilot. It's the story of the guy who flew across the Atlantic for the first time. Okay. One straight flight. That was I had only seen James Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, oh, sweet, and then I got sucked into this movie. And you'd be so surprised. Like, it's a guy in a plane for a long time. But it's actually well done. And it's like, oh, he's really
good. Guy
good.
In a plane for a really long time.
It really is.
I think that should be the selling point of the movie. Yeah, you should be a
They have those things out there,
poster.
like how to describe a movie, really bad, Star Wars has a great one. Like, I don't even remember what it is. It's like, family issues, like
in space.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Just ridiculous.
Guy kisses his sister.
Yeah.
Kills his father.
Pretty much. Yeah.